They stole over $100 million in diamonds, gold, and jewelry from the most secure vault in the world, and no one knows exactly how they did it. Leonardo Notarbartolo, the mastermind behind the Antwerp diamond heist, was caught, but the loot was never found. Until now. But what if the mastermind behind the biggest diamond heist in history was just a pawn? Or could the whole thing have been an insurance scam with the thieves unknowingly playing their part? Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind the greatest diamond heist of the century. About 18 months ago, in the summer of 2001, Leonardo Notarbartolo sat at a small cafe in Antwerp's diamond district, sipping his espresso. The place was cramped, with just a few tables, but it had a perfect view of the diamond table. People rushed by, carrying bags and briefcases full of millions of dollars in gems, while armored cars stood still, waiting for couriers. It was one of the wealthiest areas in the world, and also a dreamland for thieves. Notarbartolo, who had rented an office in the Diamond Center in 2000, had successfully posed as a gem importer. His real mission, however, was far more dangerous. By the time he arrived in Antwerp, he had already pulled off dozens of robberies. Stealing wasn't just about money anymore, it was in his blood. From a young age, when he had stolen money from a milkman at age 6, he knew he was destined for a life of crime. Over the years, he honed his skills, learning to pick locks, study people, and assemble expert teams of thieves. Antwerp was the perfect place for him. He'd visit regularly, blend in with the merchants, and steal priceless gems. One day, a trusted dealer approached him with an unusual offer, a heist, a big one. The Antwerp Diamond Center, the most secure vault in the district, was said to be impenetrable. For 100,000 euros, the dealer wanted to know if Notarbartolo could rob it. Notarbartolo wasn't sure, but for the money, he agreed to investigate. The vault in the Antwerp Diamond Center was one of the most secure places in the world. A 3-ton steel door, reinforced with 6 layers of security, stood between the world and the vast fortune inside. Notarbartolo had studied the vault in detail. It was designed to withstand anything from seismic sensors to complex lock mechanisms. Even power tools couldn't break it open. Any drilling would trigger an alarm. Not to mention, the magnetic field around the door would shatter if tampered with, setting off alarms before a thief could make a move. During business hours, the vault door was left open, but once the building was locked down for the night, the place became impenetrable. For Notarbartolo, who prided himself on cracking impossible targets, this vault was an extraordinary challenge. But if this vault was so impenetrable, how did Notarbartolo even think that he could break in? What was the missing piece that made this heist possible? Notarbartolo pressed on, and he was curious when the diamond dealer who had hired him returned after 5 months. He had previously dismissed the heist as impossible, having shown the dealer photographs and explained the vault's defenses. Yet, the dealer wanted to meet again, at a location far from Antwerp. When Notarbartolo arrived, he found himself inside an abandoned warehouse, where he was stunned to see an exact replica of the vault. The dealer had recreated the vault to test his hypothesis. The dealer introduced him to 3 skilled individuals. Among them was a man known as the Genius, a master of alarm systems who claimed he could disable most of the vault's securities. Alongside him was the Monster, a skilled lockpicker and mechanic with extraordinary strength. The combination of these specialists gave Notarbartolo the sense that this heist was becoming something more than a pipe dream. As they stood in the mock vault, Notarbartolo's doubt grew, but he couldn't deny the growing possibility of success. The heist was slowly becoming a possibility, but it would require all their combined expertise to bring it to life. Before the plan could fully unfold, Notarbartolo had to disable the vault's advanced security systems. One of the key pieces in the plan was the vault's combination, which could only be unlocked with the nearly impossible to duplicate foot-long key. This is where the King of Keys came in, an elderly locksmith who was known as one of the best in the world at forging keys. Though old, his skill was unmatched, and he was essential for replicating the vault's unique key. Now Notarbartolo, guided by the diamond dealer, was tasked with obtaining clear footage of the vault's combination, something that would help the King of Keys forge the key perfectly. A hidden camera above the vault door, disguised by the glare of a light, recorded the guard's every move. An ordinary fire extinguisher in the storage room nearby, outfitted with electronics, carefully captured the footage and sent it out. As the guards spun the combination wheel and inserted the vault key, the camera documented the precise details of the lock's operation. The days leading up to the heist saw heightened security in Antwerp. On February 13, 2003, 2 days before the robbery, the police convoy loaded with millions of dollars worth of diamonds from De Beers sped through the streets. The convoy was surrounded by a heavily armored unit, ensuring no one could access the diamond shipment as it was delivered to the Antwerp Diamond District vault. The next day, on February 14th, Notarbartolo entered the vault under the claim of another visit, carrying a can of women's hairspray in his pocket. He casually sprayed the vault's combined heat and motion sensor with a thin coat of mist, temporarily disabling it. This action made the vault vulnerable to their plan, which was nearly perfect. The security camera recorded his every movement, but the guard, used to the Italian's visits, failed to notice anything suspicious. But for a brief moment, the vault filled with the faint scent of women's hair. The heist was in full swing now. With every precise movement, the team showed how well prepared they were. The monster had successfully bypassed the security system, and the King of Keys was now working his magic on the safe deposit boxes. He was using a homemade hand-cranked drill, carefully fitted with a thin metal shaft. Each turn of the crank was slow, calculated, and methodical. After about 3 minutes of intense concentration, the lock on the first box snapped open with a satisfying click. The vault was filled with a thick silence, only interrupted by the faint sounds of the team's controlled breathing and the occasional creak of the drill. Each box they opened brought them closer to their goal, untold wealth locked away inside, waiting to be taken. Notarbartolo, sitting outside in the rented Peugeot, kept his eyes on the quiet streets of Antwerp. His phone was within reach, but there were no updates. His police scanner, which had been silent all night, remained quiet, a good sign. He took another sip of his now lukewarm coffee, trying to remain patient. It was still early, and the hardest part was yet to come, getting out. Back in the vault, the team continued their work. Box after box, each one yielding treasures more dazzling than the last. Diamonds, cash, and precious stones were being carefully packed into the duffel bags they had brought. They were professionals. No reckless grabbing, no unnecessary risks. Everything was methodical, just as they had practiced for months in the replica vault. This was the moment they had all been working toward, and everything seemed to be going according to plan. But as they moved deeper into their operation, the team knew that every minute counted. The longer they stayed inside, the greater the risk of something going wrong. And in a heist like this, even a small mistake could mean disaster. But how could they be so sure the contents they were after were still there? Could someone have been playing them all along? Well, the heist team thought they had struck gold, or rather diamonds. After opening 109 safety deposit boxes in Antwerp's Diamond District, their duffel bags were packed with cash, gold bars, and what they believed were satchels filled with rough and polished diamonds. But here's the twist. When they gathered back at Notarbartolo's apartment, the satchels turned out to be mostly empty. The team was shocked, realizing that they had only pulled in a fraction of the expected $100 million. Notarbartolo began to suspect an insurance scam. Maybe the diamond dealer had tipped off his colleagues, who removed their inventory beforehand, only to claim it was stolen and collect insurance payouts. As this unsettling thought gnawed at him, he and Speedy set out on a drive back to Turin with a bag of evidence. But Speedy, overcome by paranoia, demanded they dump the bag along a secluded dirt road near the E9 motorway. But even the most brilliant heist can fall apart with one small mistake. What detail did they overlook that would eventually lead to their downfall? A retired Belgian grocer named August van Camp, while hunting on his land next to the motorway, discovered the discarded trash. Among the debris were videotapes, a half-eaten salami sandwich, and envelopes marked Diamond Center Antwerp. Fed up with the constant littering, Van Camp reported the trash to the police. When he mentioned the Diamond Center envelopes, the police quickly descended on the scene, gathering the evidence. One piece of trash led to Notarbartolo's downfall, an invoice for the low-light video surveillance system in his name. The police were now on his trail, and the carefully planned heist began to unravel. On Van Camp's property, a detective found a torn business card in the mud. It had the details of Elio Denario, an electronics expert tied to past robberies. All signs pointed to him being the mastermind behind a huge diamond heist. Along with the card, a salami sandwich wrapper was found nearby. This seemingly insignificant detail would lead detectives to a crucial breakthrough. 4 days later, police searched Leonardo Notarbartolo's rented apartment in Antwerp. They discovered a grocery receipt for salami, time-stamped to the day of the heist. CCTV footage showed a tall Italian man, Ferdinando Finotto, buying the salami, likely the monster of the heist crew. The team of thieves later met in a bar in Adro, Italy, expecting to split millions. However, their diamond dealer who organized the heist never showed. Suspicion hung heavy in the air as they realized that they may have been shortchanged, each receiving far less than expected. While the group worried about their next steps, Notarbartolo was living his normal life with his family on a Thursday night, trying to act like everything was fine, despite the storm brewing around him. His granddaughter was playing with his phone, and for a moment, he forgot his worries. But he knew he had to return to Belgium to maintain his cover, return the rental car, and clean up his apartment. He told his wife and family he'd leave early the next day, and his wife decided to join him for a quick getaway. As they raced through the Swiss Alps the next morning, oblivious to what was happening, the Italian police surrounded their home. They were acting on a lead from the Belgian detectives who were investigating the diamond heist, one of the biggest in history. Notarbartolo's son, Marco, was at home and panicked when the police arrived, desperately trying to reach his father. But Marco's call went unanswered. His granddaughter had accidentally silenced his phone. Meanwhile, Notarbartolo casually strolled into the Antwerp diamond district, just as planned. He waved at the security guard, collected his mail, and tried to act like nothing was wrong. But the guard was aware of the ongoing investigation and alerted the building manager, who in turn called the detectives. They arrived immediately, and after some questioning and delayed tactics from Notarbartolo, escorted him to his apartment. When the police took him into his flat, they found his wife and friends leaving with bags. Inside were pre-made SIM cards and diamonds tied to the heist. Notarbartolo and his associates, including Elio Denario, the genius, Ferdinando Finotto, the monster, and the paranoid speedy Pietro Tavano, were arrested. More diamonds were found hidden in a rolled-up carpet. Notarbartolo was sentenced to 10 years, and other members of his crew received 5-year terms. However, the King of Keys was never caught. Whether the heist gained $100 million or just $20 million remains a mystery. Notarbartolo hinted at an insurance scam involving dishonest traders, but the truth may be hidden within the missing loot, possibly stashed in the Italian Alps, waiting for his return. What do you think happened to the missing loot? Could it still be hidden in the Italian Alps? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon.